Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some Pittsburgh Steelers preview and prediction for this Week 15 game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Carolina Panthers. Both teams 5-8 in this contest, but Carolina is still very much, believe it or not, in the thick of the division out there in the NFC South, while Pittsburgh just trying to stay mathematically alive in the playoffs. Let's talk about what to watch for in this game. The Panthers are by no means a great team, but under interim head coach Steve Wilks with his defensive mindset and kind of old school philosophy, this team has won 3 of their last 4, and I think they're 4-4 under Wilks since he took over for the fired Matt Rule. And so they just upset a talented Seattle team on the road last week, and they're doing it with their ground game. I mean, they are similar to Atlanta in a lot of ways, minus the higher end quarterback mobility that Marcus Mariota had. Now, Sam Darnold, the third starting quarterback for the Panthers this year, he can run a little bit, but there's no really design runs. It's more scrambles. But they are a run first, run second, run third type of team that is not going to be someone that can play catch up and play from 20 points down with a great passing attack. And so they want to commit to the run game. And they do so, frankly, as much as any team in football. When you're talking about everyone's discussing their Arby's package when they bring 8 offensive linemen on the field, that's an element of it. And that kind of sums up how old school and run first they are, but they on a regular basis run and use 6 offensive linemen. I mean, the last 2 weeks against Denver and Seattle, they've opened up with a offensive guard as their fullback, rookie Cade Mays, and so they'll run toss, they run lead strong, they run lead weak, and so there are going to be those ultra heavy packages, but even just as part of their down-to-down rhythm, they're going to use 6 offensive linemen quite a bit, whether that is Cade Mays as their fullback or Cameron Irving, the veteran, as their 6 offensive linemen. And so that's something you have to watch for and how Pittsburgh responds. And that you're probably going to see the 3-5 with multiple linebackers on the field, 5 of them, whether that's 3 inside or 3 outside, we'll have to see. Miles Jack's injuries complicates things a little bit, but I think you're going to see some different packages to try to get all Pittsburgh's big people on the field to defend those ultra heavy things, but also just as a routine, regular basis, because that is just Carolina's personality. Their passing game, obviously, no major threats. DJ Moore is their top receiver as of this recording. He's got an ankle injury. He's questionable, so I don't know his status as of Friday night. They're going to run play action. They're going to run boots to the field. They really, it's all concepts and scheme in terms of their pass game. Besides Moore, their second leading receiver currently on the team is Laviska Shenault, who has 21 receptions. Christian McCaffrey has been in San Fran for, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks now. He's still technically their second leading receiver, and so that kind of speaks to they're going to get the ball to a bunch of different people, not because the talent is overwhelming, whether you're talking Shenault or their tight ends and Ian Thomas, a big guy and a good blocker, by the way, Tommy Tremble. Terrence Marshall is a vertical threat. He's averaging almost 19 yards per catch, so there's something to watch for there. But a lot of boots to the field, Spider 2, Y Banana, that old school kind of stuff. They kind of just concept and scheme up guys in the pass game, and they don't care who's getting the football because they're just trying to do it based off of the concept and the leverage and things like that. So it's play pass and in their run game. That's how they work. Last note for the offense, I got a couple of good tackles. Taylor Moton on the right side and Ike Ekwonu, a first-round pick on the left side. So big matches here for TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. Both guys have been pretty quiet the last 2 weeks because in part due to the very run-heavy approaches of Atlanta and Baltimore. Carolina's going to be the same, but they move the pocket a bit less. Quarterback mobility, not as much of a concern, but those guys, Watt and Highsmith, have some pretty tough matchups, and both guys have to make more of an impact than they have. Defensively, it's not a group to write home about, but there's still talent at all 3 levels, whether you're talking about Brian Burns, who's a great threat off the edge, and he was in trade talks earlier this year, but they kept him for a reason. Derek Brown's a good interior defender. Besides their pass rush, which is led by Burns, their defensive line as a whole does a great job to get their hands in throwing lanes. They got big people, they got some long people like Marquise Haynes, and they as a team have deflected 13 passes this year, and Derek Brown in the middle has 6 of them. By comparison, Pittsburgh's entire D-line has 7 pass deflections on the season. So you got to watch out for those tip passes and lead interceptions and things like that. At linebacker, Shaq Thompson's an all-situations player, good athlete overall. And then in the secondary, J.C. Horn, to me, is one of the better young corners in football. Had an incredible interception against Seattle on the first play last week. It's cover 3. Seattle's running smash, and Horn's able to cover the flat, force the 7 route, the corner route, and then gets depth and picks that one off. I mean, just an incredible play to take away both concepts in that smash read, and it just kind of speaks to his ability overall. So conceptually, they play more zone than man. They're going to run some base cover 3. They're going to stack the box. They're going to play the run, kind of the hallmarks of what Steve Wilkes wants to do. They actually are a pretty blitz-heavy team. Usually for 4-down fronts that have, defensive ends that get the job done, you don't see those teams blitz a lot. The Bengals, the Saints, groups like that. The Panthers blitz quite a bit, and they got a bunch of off-ball linebackers that have some good sack numbers. They got a guy that I'm sure many people haven't heard of, really myself included, and Frankie Lavu has got 5 sacks. A veteran Damian Wilson has got 2 sacks, and they bring the nickel corner a lot. And 2x2 to the boundary side, watch out for a nickel blitz or a safety blitz. That's kind of their tendency overall, more second and third down passing situations. But they mix things up a little bit. They're a zone-based team overall, but they're pretty well coached, and I think they're doing a good job of making some plays, and again, they've been better as of late, which is reflective of the entire team. I think they've just found more stability and confidence under Steve Wilkes. One last thing to note overall, have to note it, watch out for the punter, Johnny Hekker. Has not done it this year, but this guy threw a ton of fakes with the Rams. He's got 23 passes since coming into the league in 2012. No other punter has more than 7 over that span, and so I'm always concerned, and certainly an antenna goes up whenever they have a punter that certainly can and has successfully throwing the football late in the season. Panthers 5-8, trying to make a play. Don't know exactly when it would come, but I think Pittsburgh's got to be pretty safe in terms of their punt rush team. And also Hekker, just a quality punter. He's having a career year averaging 49 yards per punt, and so that's helping them in the field position battle, which I'm sure is helping them win some of these recent games. Pittsburgh's field position battle totally lost, went in Baltimore's favor last weekend, and so that's an underrated component to watch for. Watch the punts and watch the fakes. So for my prediction, I'm going to go Pittsburgh 23, Carolina 16. I just think, regardless of who's a quarterback for Pittsburgh, and as of this recording Friday night, I don't know. It won't be Kenny Pickett. My guess as of right now is Trubisky, but really it's almost a coin flip between him and Mason Rudolph. I think regardless, though, Pittsburgh's going to show some fight. Whenever they're backed into a corner, they kind of find a way to overcome, at least for a game, avoid that losing season, stay mathematically alive in the playoffs. I think the run defense will find a way to be better overall. The Panthers are not a potent run defense or run offense. They're just a determined rushing attack, and so I think Pittsburgh will have more success. And I just can't see the Steelers losing. They have more firepower. They get more big plays, and they don't get a lot of big plays, but they get more than what Carolina has had. And so I'll give them the advantage here, 23-16. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your score prediction. Will Pittsburgh win? And for now, avoid Mike Tomlin's first losing season, or will they drop to the Panthers on the road? Certainly possible, and we'll be here to cover it for you guys, win, lose, or draw. So if you guys could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate that, and we'll talk to you soon.